It's 6 p.m. on a weekday. You just wrapped up working and we're gonna head to your local card shop to play locals, but it's gonna take time to commute there, you have to get changed and pack, and the weather is looking kinda mid too. But you're really looking forward to relaxing while playing card games so much today. Are you really gonna let that feeling go to waste? Worry not, there is a god game for you in situations like this. Digital card games have been around for a while now, and while I've dabbled in the majority of them by now, there is no other game that has kept my attention and had me coming back time after time like the one and only Shadowverse. Shadowverse is a digital card game by Cygames released in 2016, implementing the beautiful characters of various Cygames titles such as Rage of Bahamut, Grand Blue Fantasy, Princess Connect, among others, with its own beautiful cast of original characters and cards. Not only that, the game has a huge esports circuit in Japan and most other parts of the world, several anime adaptations, a console video game adaptation, and even a physical trading card game called Shadowverse Evolve, giving many people the chance to engage with the franchise in various ways. In this video, I'll be going over some of the reasons that have made me stick around with this game since I started playing it in launch, and hopefully some of these resonate with you too. First, it's incredibly easy to jump in and start playing. The game is constantly evolving both mechanically and in terms of the playing field, featuring 8 different unique classes that each have their own unique factors that we'll go over a bit later. Generally, Shadowverse is played with a 1v1 battles format with 40 card decks where both players start with 20 defense and you win by reducing your opponent's, or as it's called in game, your opponent's leader's, defense to 0. The cards you fight with come in 3 different types: followers, spells, and amulets. Followers always come with a play cost, attack, and defense value. Generally, these are the cards you attack with, either to your opponent's followers or to their leader. By exchanging blows, followers deal their attack value to the opposing follower's defense value, and if it's reduced to 0, that follower is destroyed. The same applies when attacking leaders too. The opposing leader's defense will get reduced by the amount of attack you inflict to it. Spells are exactly what they sound like. You pay a cost to play them, and then they do various effects, doing damage, healing, drawing cards, buffing, debuffing, the list goes on. Amulets are kind of like spells in that they don't have attack or defense values, but unlike spells, they stay in play after you play them, either forever or for a certain amount of turns depending on what the card says. Now I know that I've mentioned cost this, cost that, but you're probably thinking, how do I even gain the play points to pay for these costs of the cards? Luckily, Shadowverse doesn't need any special cards or anything for this. Your play points increase automatically each turn from 0 to the limit of 10, and thus you can smoothly play out your cards each turn as long as they are within the total play points of that turn. As you can see, the basic rules and flow of the game are very straightforward, so jumping in is very easy. Number 2. The 8 classes in game are all unique and provide their own thrill to the point that you can proudly be a one class one trick for your entire life. Within these 8 classes, there's dozens of archetypes and deck builds among them, but to save time, I'll give you a brief description of each class and what you can expect from them. Forestcraft focuses on combos, playing many cards per turn to achieve various results such as high attack powers, many cards in play, or dealing extra damage to your opponent. You'll find a lot of nature-themed aesthetics here, such as fairies, bugs, animals, and of course, pretty princesses. Swordcraft focuses on constantly playing followers over anything else, giving you big bonus effects if you've played a certain amount of followers or more per game, and buffing them to overwhelm your opponent. It's got sword in the name, so expect to see knights, ninjas, pirates, heroes, and the occasional doggo? Runecraft. You know how sword is all about followers? This one is all about spells. You play a bunch of spells to achieve huge overwhelming win conditions, play spells to have more resources than your opponent, and often even play spells that create followers too. Throughout the history of the game, you've been able to play a bunch of spells to even gain extra turns as well. In terms of aesthetics, you'll see what you expect. Magicians, wizards, golems, and other alchemic creations. Also mechs sometimes. Dragoncraft. It's in the name, dragons. They cost a lot of play points, but Dragon's unique factor is using cards that increase your play point total faster than once per turn, so you sacrifice playing followers in the early turns to overwhelm your opponent with huge dragons earlier than they are able to respond. The aesthetics are mostly what you expect with the name, but there's a lot of famous waifus in this class too, including my very own favorite Galmu. Forte is pretty popular too though. Shadowcraft. Do you like sacrificing your allies moves to achieve greater results, all while featuring beautiful edgy art. If your name is XX Darkslayers 57XX, then this is the class for you. Jokes aside, you destroy your own followers, and after having destroyed enough of your own cards, you get various rewards, such as reviving previous destroyed followers, getting huge buffs and damage, among others. Bloodcraft. So you know how you saw like skeletons and necromancers in Shadowcraft? Well, Bloodcraft's got you with all the vampires and succubi and demons you'd ever want. While Shadowcraft sacrifices its own cards, Bloodcraft puts your own life on the line, allowing you to do incredible damage and other bonus effects if you keep your leader's defense at 10 or lower. It is very much the stop hitting yourself class. Havencraft. Quite the opposite of dealing damage to yourself, Haven is all about healing yourself and leading to big late game plays. While Sword was big on followers and Rune was big on spells, Haven is the amulet class, with many archetypes throughout the game's history just being called Amulet Haven. In terms of art, you can expect priestesses, Jeanne d'Arc multiple times, holy figures, paladins, and various holy birds as well. Portalcraft is the final 8th class whose aesthetics and playstyles truly feel like they've come through portals from all over the place. Generally speaking, portal decks are very different from each other, but they often work around what goes in and out of your deck, putting new cards into your deck mid-match, then playing them out on your board, or putting cards from your hand back to your deck and play them out again later too. You sometimes even get rewarded depending on if your remaining cards in deck add up to an odd or even amount. Aesthetics wise, it's your futuristic sci-fi dream. You got robots, artifacts, robot girls, creepy looking puppets, battle cruisers. There's quite a lot going on here. Neutral is technically a 9th class, but instead of being one that you can build a deck around, neutral cards are generally ones that you put in other classes' decks that help to support your game plan. Let me know in the comments which your favorite is from these. For the record, I'm a sword main, but I've always played a dangerously high amount of dragon too. Reason number 3, the card art. I'm sure you've noticed while we went over the classes, but good lord, this game has some of the best art I've ever seen. It's like they took the highlights of every Cygames franchise, put it into one platform, and then created a bunch of other beautiful original art too. What's even better is that since it's a digital card game, you get a voice line accompanying everything a card does. When you play it, when you evolve it, when you attack with it, when it gets destroyed. There's so many little details that really makes these cards feel alive. 4, the in-game story mode. This one deserves its own highlight. The story mode includes a vast amount of arcs that are each very unique and played from the perspective of the character you choose, and they're fully voiced in both English and Japanese. But what's best from a player perspective is that you can go through all of it without owning a single card and using the rental trial decks instead. This gives you an incredible chance to try out each class and see what you like first before committing your vials, which are the resources you get from liquefying duplicate cards, and this way you can see which decks you want to actually start building. The story itself is full of beautiful art and thrilling back and forth, so I definitely recommend you give it a go. Number 5, the customization. This one's easy to miss at first, but it's incredible how much self-expression this game gives you. Banners and flares to decorate your profile, you get a home screen that's animated which you can change, and even get new ones when you pull certain cards too. You're also not locked into the original leader characters either. Shadowverse constantly puts out collabs with popular game and anime characters, and you can get some of the popular Shadowverse cards themselves as leaders from just opening packs too. And of course, the biggest priority for all TCG players, the sleeves. You get sleeves from just playing, from events, collabs, opening packs, celebrations, getting to the top ranks, virtually everything. Some of them are even animated. I don't think I've even seen animated sleeves before this. Number 6, the generosity. This has made the game stand out for many years, especially for new players. Free packs are given out genuinely all the time. You get packs in rupees, which you used to buy packs, from daily missions, from all the events, daily logins, and the battle pass non-stop. Even some of the top esports players of this game have achieved their results thanks to the raw generosity of this game. Just playing a bit every day will let you build most decks in the game, and whenever a new expansion comes out, you can just liquefy your old cards to craft new ones, making it a very player-friendly ecosystem. Number 7 is the game length. So in my opinion, when I'm playing physical trading card games, the game can take as long as it wants. But when I'm playing a digital card game, I really prefer it to wrap up relatively quickly. And we've definitely seen design choices in the digital card game industry lean harder towards this too. Shadowverse games are the perfect length where you can sit down in a train, play a game while you wait for your couple of stops to pass, and you'll be done just in time to get off at your stop. Number 8, cross-platform. You might have already gotten this hint across the video, but yes, Shadowverse uses your same account across all platforms. You can can play some ranked while getting ready in the morning on your PC, and then log off and log back in on your smartphone to keep on playing your matches. And number 9, the latest expansion, Order Shift. Shadowverse generally releases new expansions every 3 months, and each expansion brings about unique new additions to the game on top of bringing about support to every single class all at once. This time, in addition to the new cards, we also have a new keyword called Transmute. There's an older keyword called Fusion in Shadowverse, where you're able to fuse certain cards in your hand into other ones, but in the past this would just activate certain effects and usually end there. Starting with Order Shift, these fusion cards quite literally shift into something new and become entirely different cards with different costs, attack, defense, and whole new effects. Shadowverse has always had this side of every card has 2 sides with the evolve mechanic, allowing you to evolve followers into stronger versions of themselves, with many having bonus effects, but this has added yet another dimension to it. It's almost like the amount of cards in this expansion is 1.5 times that of the usual amount, since these transmute cards become entirely new ones, so it's a super fun expansion to jump into the game with. And 10, finally, the reason that makes watching this video close to release particularly useful to you, dear viewer, the mini expansion. Usually around 1.5 to 2 months after an expansion releases, we get what's called a mini expansion, where each class gets 1 new legendary plus a bunch of other cards to shake things up and add more cool strategies into the game. You also get a bunch of free packs to open and events to coincide with it, so it's a great time for everyone. The Order Shift expansion really is an excellent time to start your Shadowverse adventure. With that, I hope one of these 10 reasons has resonated with you and you join me in the wonderful world of Shadowverse. There's lots of community resources and ways to engage with the player base, and there's even an official Discord where you'll find lots of great advice and tips as you take your first steps with the game, as you can always find what you need. The game is free to download on Steam, iOS, and Android, so do give it a try. A huge thank you to Shadowverse for sponsoring this video and letting me recommend this game I love to all of you. In case you didn't know, I also do commentary for one of the esports circuits of the game, so do tune into that sometime if you're interested. With that though, that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, please do give it a like, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. But on that note, that's all for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.